Hello, in this video I'm going to analyse Andrew Tate's recent tweets. Andrew Tate and his brother have been released from custody and they're now under house arrest at their home in Romania. But of course, as soon as he got out, he started tweeting again. Before we get started, I want to summarise some of the things that Andrew Tate has said on social media about women. He said women belong in the home, that they can't drive, that they're a man's property. He thinks rape victims should bear responsibility for their part in being raped. He also talks about dating girls who are 18 or 19 years old because, as he said, they've had less dick. And he admits that he wants to be able to imprint on them, which I find incredibly disturbing. And, and I think probably the whole sexual thing is again about possession. The idea that they've slept with other men is too much for Andrew Tate to bear because he's so insecure. He's talked in YouTube videos about hitting and choking women. This is what he said about what he'd do if a woman accused him of cheating. It's bang out the machete, boom in her face, and grip her by the neck. Shut up, bitch, he says. He's talked in videos about how he will lure women by pretending to be in love with them to being on webcams. He's told other men how to do that, how to manipulate a girl into thinking you're in love with her and into thinking that this is a good way that they can make money together, as if she's really a part of it, almost as if she's an equal part, which of course she isn't. He then boasts about how he's taken 50% of the money the girl earns. There's a lot of other things he's said online, one of which is that he doesn't let girls go out without him, and he's now been trying to take this stuff back. But, I just really hope that they find enough evidence to be able to put him away for a long time, and that they manage to ban what other people are told on social media, that they manage to ban him from social media. Because the problem at the moment is that even when he's been taken off all of these different platforms, he's already been taken off TikTok, he was previously taken off Twitter before Elon Musk took over. He was taken off Facebook, he was taken off YouTube and Instagram, and the problem is that he gets all of his followers to put out content about him. So that content is still getting out. It's all over the place. Since Andrew Tate was released from prison and put under house arrest, he's released some tweets. Actually, pretty much immediately he got out, which is ironic because of what he says in one of those tweets. Since last year, I've been in 24-hour lockdown. Of course, he can't say since the 29th of December because that was almost this year. No yard time, pacing a 3-metre cell with 0 electronics or outside contact. Now, we know that that isn't true because he has been talking on the phone to his brother. The calls have been wiretapped, so we know what was said in the calls. And he's been instructing people as to what to say on social media about him. But it does sound more impressive to say no outside contact, because it sounds sort of like a guru who's gone on a long trip and spent years in the mountains meditating, or praying. Absolute clarity of mind, real thoughts, real plans, vivid pain. This is really starting to sound like Jesus out there in the wilderness. 1 hour home and I can't stand my phone. Some habits die hard. We must defeat Shaitan. Vivid pain. What hurts so much? Is this emotional pain? Is it physical pain? Maybe he wants us to think it's both. Whatever it is, it's just immense suffering that has led to this divine kind of clarity. This idea that he is now even more powerful and even more special and spiritual than he ever was before, that now he's truly in touch with wisdom. So an hour at home and he can't stand his phone, and yet here he is tweeting on it, presumably. He's pacing up and down at home. I don't know why. He's always got his top off to show them, you know, how muscly he is, and he's got his cigar, even though he's talking about a high that's better than drugs and alcohol and all of that. Here he is going up and down at home. He's still pacing, even though he's free now. There are just very important things to be thinking about, so he's still pacing. It's a new age of consciousness, he says. The degeneracy of old is no longer accepted by the hearts of the young. I feel like he needs to write a new Bible, the Andrew Tate Bible. Maybe that's what he's planning to do. What's so ironic about all of this is that what he preaches to people is incredibly old-fashioned. It's what most of society has now, especially in the West, has grown out of, thankfully. Women are treated with more respect than previously. And I can't obviously say every single country, because unfortunately we know that that is not true. The Taliban, for example, have actually, they've actually said that they're concerned about Andrew Tate. You know, when he was in jail, they said they were concerned and that he was somebody who, you know, we need more voices like him, they were saying. So his way of thinking is very much aligned with that of the Taliban. Girls can't even go to school after the age of 12 over there. So what does that really say, you know, that they agree with Andrew Tate? But this isn't what kids at school are hearing about. They're hearing about Andrew Tate as if he's a macho, really cool guy who they should listen to. And that's why I feel more strongly about Andrew Tate than I do about anybody else I've ever spoken about on this channel. You know, I've talked about murderers who have killed people in the most gruesome ways, who've killed their own children sometimes, you know, and even so, I think Andrew Tate is the most harmful person who I've ever made a video about. And that's because of the amount of influence he has over millions of young boys, you know, or young men, because I guess they're somewhere in between men and boys. In fact, I think most of them are 17 to 21. And so these people I've spoken about in videos in the past, they might have harmed or killed 1 or 2 people or 3 people, or if you think about Chris Watts, I guess 4. But how many lives will Andrew Tate be responsible for affecting? You know, if you think about all the girls who are in contact with all of the boys who watch and are influenced by Andrew Tate, how many girls will have been raped? How many girls will have been hit? You know, how many girls will have been emotionally abused? It's absolutely horrific. The drugs, alcohol and gambling will all be replaced by a higher high, the Most High. And I think the Most High is what God is referred to as in the Bible. People don't speak in this way. People don't say all of this will be replaced by a higher high. What on earth does that mean? But it seems like, this is reminding me of Chris Watts and the way that when he wrote to his mother from jail, you know, how he started to sound like no one sounds unless they're in the, you know, unless they've written the Bible. In another tweet, he says, "I prepare my body to absorb the brutal kinetics of piercing lead." Who speaks like this? It's just embarrassing. You know, I feel so embarrassed for this guy. But the problem is, this is working. You know, the people are loving his tweets. That the people who are influenced by him, because they're so young, I think, you know, they are loving all of this and they're taking it seriously. And so while most of us can see that this is just a joke, the real issue here is that the people he is targeting are taking him seriously. They're taking him deadly seriously. As all other silencing attempts fail and stage 3 approaches, I anticipate a bullet will be the chosen utensil of pacification. So, you know, because he couldn't say, I think someone might shoot me, because that doesn't sound impressive and spiritual enough. So he has to speak in this ridiculously over-the-top, over-dramatic way. But all of this contributes to this idea that he is above the rest of humanity. There's something incredibly special about him, something divine. And people want to silence him. And now they're looking to kill him, you know, because he speaks the truth. I can only pray and prepare, he says. I will force myself to breathe the best I can, I promise. And so, you know, this sounds like, I can only pray and prepare. It sort of sounds like Jesus before he went to the cross, you know, that this night of his Last Supper. But it sounds like Andrew Tate, in his mind, he's up there with Jesus, you know, but it was worth it. And, you know, breathe through the pain. I will force myself to breathe as best I can. Again, Jesus on the cross in deep, deep pain, but still breathing, you know, until he's finally taken by the Lord. But until that moment, he won't give up. This is how Andrew Tate really seems to see himself. So all of this attention he's got from these young boys around the world it's really made him believe that he has something unique and special that other people don't have, and that he was destined to be their leader. Because all of these tweets, they all speak of destiny and that this was supposed to happen. All of these tweets speak of a prophecy, you know, because they're all saying that this is what is going to happen. And it was always supposed to happen because his voice was supposed to pierce through across the nations. I feel like I could try and co-author his book with him. But, you know, if only everybody would find it this funny. But the issue is with Andrew Tate is that his audience are vulnerable because of their age. In the next video, I'm going to be looking at Andrew Tate's childhood and how he got his God complex.
No one can question what I'm saying when it comes to being a father or parenting, because I was raised in a very specific way, and I'm one of the greatest men on the face of the planet.
So if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.